it will not be a waste of time to be the first thing that you deal with when you get here. People advocate that Panama is cheap, and it is, but Panama could be as cheap as you want it to be or as expensive as you want it to be. You don't think about it when you're constantly booking. More relaxed when it comes to receiving help or receiving a service or even receiving reliable service here because, hey guys, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name is Sansa, your typical Caribbean girl from Barbados. I don't think I ever say that, but I'm from Barbados. I'm just in my 30s out here documenting my life in Panama City, Panama. If you're wondering why I should listen to this girl, because one, I'm cute, but two, I've been living in Panama City about 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and I think that I would have a little bit of wisdom and perspective on, things that I wish I knew before coming to Panama City. With that being said, none of these things are things that would have made me stop from coming here. I do really love being here. I've created an entire channel on building my life here in my 30s and enjoying the experiences and building community and all of those things. I truly enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I really think that Panama City is going in a wonderful direction. The fact that you're clicking this video is that it's on your radar. Like, that a lot of people are talking about Panama City right now. And one thing I want to add, a lot of these videos don't really show you is that Panama City isn't the vibe that you think it might be. It's very chill, relaxed country. It's very conservative. The people are very conservative in the city. I'm not really sure about lifestyle outside of the city. I do know like people do the parties and what's not, but in the city it's still very conservative. You would see like certain days things are closed because there's a huge Jewish influence here as well. So there's still a level of conservative. I don't know what the word is. There's still a level of conservative mentality within the city and within the people. And I find that's part of their culture as well as Latin people, or, they're very conservative people. Like they get married, they grow old together. And that was one of the things about the culture that drew me closer to this city, this country. But with that being said, I just wanted to say, like, it's one of those places that you need to create your own vibe. Like, say, for example, if you move to New York City is a vibe. Panama City is not like that. It's not like Florida. I know people are saying that it's like the next Florida. I don't think it is, but you definitely need to create your own vibe. I think for some people it is. Like if you are Latino or Latina, you have your parties, your community. There are a lot of people who are very wealthy and live very, very well. But like when you're starting out, you don't see that side of it. And I sure as hell did not see that side of Panama City when I first got here. It took some time for me to meet more people who are Latin to fully see what life I could create here for myself. But yeah, I just wanted to share 7 things that I wish I knew before coming here that I think might be helpful to those who are looking to come here if you are here and you're still trying to figure out a few things. So whether you're planning on moving to Panama City or coming out here for a scouting trip, I think this video might give you a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of insight. And if there's anything I could do to help any of you to make your conversion or thought process a little bit lighter, click this video and subscribe. But without further ado, let's hop in. So one thing I wish I knew before, and even in getting here, was to get a bank account. How important it is to get a bank account here and how easy it is to get a bank account here. When I first got here, I went with the belief that getting an account here was difficult, and honey, it's really not. And I think I went with the belief at first that I'm not a resident, foreign language. And then when I went to the websites for some of the well-known banks here, and don't worry, I'm going to list the well-known banks here. But when I went to the site, the requirements were just really extensive. And that kind of like blew my mind because it was in Spanish. It was very complicated. You're moving to a country by yourself, so you get very overwhelmed and very like, oh, what do I do? Who do I talk to? So when I looked at all those things, I got very stressed, and I put off like actually going into the bank and talking to somebody. Like I put that off for such maybe like 2-3 months maybe, until I realized that me going to the ATM to withdraw money was a waste of my time and a waste of money. And why I say a waste of time is that you're paying your rent if this is the option you're going to do, if you get like a landlord, all that. If you're going to the ATM at the end of the month, you're going there when everybody's doing their banking. So you're in traffic, you're dealing with higher Uber fees because everybody's running errands at that point in time. Another thing that a lot of people don't state is how the ATMs only allow you to withdraw $250 per transaction. So imagine if your rent is $1,500 and you're only allowed to withdraw $250 per withdrawal, you're withdrawing 6 times. So 6 by say $5, if that's what the ATM charges you, you're losing money. On top of that, you're wasting time getting Uber going there and getting Uber going back. And then when you go to the ATM, you also then have to go to the bank to withdraw the money to the owner or the landlord's account. So, honey, I was wasting a lot of time that I did not have to waste. So, when I added the amount that it was taking from me to like leave my house and wait and deal with traffic and all this stuff, on top of that I'm losing money. It just was ridiculous to me. It didn't make any sense. So I was like, you know what, let me just go into the bank, ask a question, see what happens. But I actually went with a job letter and my passport, and surprising enough, I walked out with an account. And I was just super happy. So Tower Bank was the first account here that I got. And what drew me to Tower Bank was the fact that they have a crypto-friendly option. When I first got my account with them, it wasn't the best relationship that I have with that bank. The bank was giving sketchy, honey. But since then, their interface has really improved. If you are into crypto or trading or whatever, like that is a good option to look into. I'm not going to tell you to opt into it, just look into it, because based on my issues, it was not fun to begin with. But since then, this is 2 years now of having an account with them, it's been seamless, it's been fine. But that first year, that shit was ghetto. I would not recommend in the first year, but now the second year has been a lot better. But however, I don't keep money on Tower Bank. I use it for what I need to use it for, and that's pretty much it. But it's actually a lot easier than you might think to open a bank account. And I wish I had known that a lot sooner before wasting 2 months running around paying rent and other utilities. It was not okay. Yeah. So having a local bank account makes your life so much easier. And then depending on the bank you're with, you could utilize services like Yappy. So Yappy is like I think it's American Zelle, where you could just do easy transfers once you have the person's number. So that's how some people pay their rent. Once you have Yappy, you have your landlord's number, you would just like text it to them in the app. And I think it makes it super easy. And then a lot of companies and businesses here, like the delivery services, they utilize Yappy. It's not a must, but yeah, when you finally get that bank account, you will see life is going to be so much easier, so much more. The flow is going to be better. It will not be a waste of time to be the first thing that you deal with when you get here. Another thing is paying your bills early. I know this is going to sound like super silly, like who doesn't pay their bills early? But be mindful of the country that you're moving into, the holidays that they have. Panama infrastructure is still very hands-on. They still need human hands to make things flow. If you pay a bill and it's close to a bank holiday, or you're doing a transfer and it's close to a bank holiday or on or around a holiday, it's going to be off until the following week. I promise you, because their systems require people to be in office to make things happen. So if you do a transfer and you're waiting, you're wondering why it didn't go on Thursday evening and the next day is a holiday, you're going to be waiting until Monday morning or Monday afternoon to receive that transfer or to have one of your services put back on. What I tend to do now is pay all my bills inside of their banking. You could set it to auto pay. So I just set all my bills to auto pay at the first of the month, regardless of if the bill has processed, to avoid those issues. I had it happen to me like once or twice. And in Panama, they don't give you, I think they give you maybe like 2 or 3 days, 2 days after if your bill isn't paid, or a day, and then they just cut it off. I think it's just 1 day. And I had that happen to me twice, and I'll be danged if I let it happen to me again. Their infrastructure, as much as this place looks like a city, the infrastructure still requires human hands to make things function. It's one of those annoying things that you just learn to live with. Another thing I wish I knew after getting here, or before getting here too, is people advocate that Panama is cheap, and it is. But Panama could be as cheap as you want it to be or as expensive as you want it to be. One thing that caught me off guard was Uber costs. So Uber costs are super low, but because it's super low, you don't think about it when you're constantly booking. And I think that's one thing that gets a lot of us caught up when we first get here, and not just in Uber costs, but like other things as well, like how much easier food is. And I think food in this recent time is going up. It's not as cheap as it used to be, especially if you're eating in the city and you're not eating local. So transportation is one of those things that if you're utilizing Uber, you could spend about $10 to $15 a day if you're like taking multiple trips. And that at the end of the month adds up quick. And when you first get here, you want to experience the city. You want to experience everything. For somebody that lived in Canada that was spending like $20 per trip, when I look in the app and I see a ride is like $2.50 or $1.50, I'm booking. I'm booking. Even if the building is straight down the street, and Panama is too hot for me to walk sometimes. So I'm booking, baby. And there are times where even though my rent was lower, my transportation was a lot higher. And it still added up at the end of the month to like sometimes $100, sometimes a little more, just when you start going out regularly. There are cheaper ways to get around here. There's buses and the subway, I think that's what you call it. But I don't have knowledge on that. I still work. I get meetings that pop up throughout the day, and I also travel with a dog. So I don't have time to be wasting or like relying my time or putting my time in public transportation's hands. I can't do it. So I've just been utilizing Uber from the time I got here. I've never taken the bus. I've never taken the subway. I want to do a video someday of my first experience doing it. So if you subscribe, just hop around for that. But I don't know. I'll try it someday just to get the experience, but I don't have a must to do it. The transportation can add up, especially when it's like demand times and Christmas times. I find in November and December, you could get Uber costs. A cost that would be like $2 would be like $7 or $9, especially during rush hour. So just be mindful of that when you first come, depending on the time that you come, time of year you come, and how many things you want to do during that. Because like you might end up coming here thinking, oh my God, like this is so cheap, but you might end up spending more because of, like excitement and the nuance of a new place. And I think all of us have gotten into that trick when we first got here, when we see all these low prices for things, especially like Uber, that we don't realize how quickly that cost can rack up. Another thing I wish I knew before moving here was how slowly things here move. And I'm from an island, so I'm kind of used to a slower pace. But when I saw Panama and it being a city, I just assumed that it would have city pace, but it really doesn't. Like things here take a lot longer than it should sometimes. Somebody could come and do a service for you in your home, like clean your AC or install your internet, and I guarantee you, you're gonna be home for the entire day. So that was one thing that I had to adjust to. And then people are just naturally like always late. Like they're usually late, they're never on time, and then they take forever. It will be multiple people coming to your home to deal with one thing, one simple thing that you would assume that is simple. It just takes longer. And that's just something that I had to grow to understand and grow to just be patient with people. Everybody has their way of doing things, and my brain was a little bit more fast paced because I'm like, okay, I think it's simple, and then not everybody thinks the way you do. But that's not me just saying that okay, I just needed to be a little bit more patient. They naturally do have a slower pace of living and processing, and I think that's why a lot of people move here, because it's a lot more laid back, a lot more relaxed. And if you know that, accept that, but do not plan your day around a service being done by a particular time. You will be late, you will be frustrated. So just set your expectations a little more relaxed when it comes to receiving help or receiving a service, or even receiving reliable service here, because the people are so sweet, they're so kind, but there's no urgency in providing services here. So that was just one of those things that I had to grow to live with and grow to understand. Okay, so this one is, I think this is 5. So this is the 5th thing I wish I knew before I got here, and is the humidity. And before you say it that I'm from an island, that I should be used to it. An island has island breeze. Panama does not have that. The way that Panama City is being built, it's a very small city, and it's being constructed on it's not building outwards, building upward. So they're not expanding based off of, I think there are like laws for nature and stuff that are preventing the city from expanding the way a city would, and it's just building upward. So it's thousands of people, thousands of cars and buildings every single day constructing, and the heat is just compact in that spot. It's just in there. It's just in there. So it just gets very, very hot. It's naturally a very humid country, But in the city, it's just a lot hotter because there's so much happening in it, and it's not growing outward, it's not expanding. Like everything is just compressed in this one spot. So the humidity is one of those things that it really gets you. Like today's a nice, beautiful day, and I'm looking outside and it's overcast and it's nice. And I would go outside thinking, oh, it's gonna be nice and cool. You get outside and you're clammy in 2 seconds. It's just the humidity here is something else. Do not press your hair if you're a black girl. Don't press your hair thinking that your blow is gonna last. It's not. It's really not. I haven't tried it yet, but I have zero faith. I was not built for this. But it's a very, very beautiful city, but it's a very, very hot and humid country. And I did not expect it. I thought like, okay, I'm from an island. Hot is fine, sunny is fine, but the humidity here, next level, next freaking level. So another one is community. Community here has been a struggle for me, and for many different reasons. I think I was never really taught how to build community. I came looking for community, but I didn't have the tools to build one. And so it's a little bit of me and it's a little bit of the culture here. One thing I noticed about Panamanian people, they're so nice, but they're very closed off culture. And I think it's because of their upbringing. Like they already have their community. Like they go to school together, they grow up together, they date one another, they get married, they grow old together, their children become friends. And that's just what I've noticed. And that's again one of the things that attracted me to moving to Panama or being here. It was that cohesiveness and that togetherness that I really love and I enjoy and I would love for myself. But it's hard to tap into community when people already have community. One thing I notice is like when you go to places like America and Canada, is that people know what it's like to immigrate there. People invite you out because everybody there is kind of like an immigrant and they get it. It's like when you're there, people like help you or they extend an invite. You don't really get that here. And it made it a lot more difficult to create your bubble of people. And because Panama's hub of people, it's now expanding, it's now growing. So that's why my circle of people are now increasing. I've also now become a lot closer to some Panamanians and Latinos and Latinas. I don't want to say Panamanians because my friends are not all Panamanian. But yeah, I'm now making like my connections and my friends. And that's after 2 years of nurturing relationships. So it was one of those things that it doesn't come overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It was one of those things that I needed to realize that building community is something that you nurture and it takes time. But I think at the beginning, like that isolation, that loneliness, and that difference in language, the language barrier is one of those things that really got to me because I was always an island. Like, you know that saying, no man is an island. I always had like kind of an island like mentality when I was living back in Barbados. Back in Barbados, I was kind of like, I always did things alone. But then when you go to another country, is like loneliness it hits different. It really does hit different. So that first year, for sure, being here by myself felt a lot heavier, a lot more isolated than I thought it would have. Because I was like, okay, when I moved to another country, I'm used to being by myself. So I don't see what the problem is. I don't see why people like feel stressed about moving to a new country. And then when you get there and you're by yourself, it hits different. It really does hit different. And it was one of those things that you have to live through it to understand it. But yeah, community is definitely one of those things that I thought would have happened rapidly. But I then realized that I didn't have the tools to like nurture relationships or even like build female friendships. That's something that I'm now learning to do as well. And just also work on me. So this entire process gave me room to like start working on myself and start seeing how I wanted to show up in friendship and how I actually wanted a friend to show up for me. And it looks different as you get older. And definitely one of those things that was a learning curve. And I wish I knew how difficult it was or is to build community when you first move to a country or when you first move to a country that doesn't even speak your language. It's quite difficult. It is quite difficult, but it's something that is not impossible. So if you expect community to appear overnight, honey, 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 honey. I would say, first of all, like, I never enter the expat groups or anything like that. I don't know. I know why I didn't do that. I didn't want to, but I find in Panama, you meet people in some of the most organic ways. You could be in the supermarket, in the elevator, in this building. I've met so many people so far. From getting my dog this year, I've been taking her on walks and I meet so many people outside just simply from walking my dog. People just come up to you and they talk and they build conversation. You exchange numbers, but it's on you to not go with the mindset that, oh, I'm bad at texting. You can't be bad at texting if you want community. You need to really work on being a person who values time and community to hone it. Like you have to be it to receive it. So that was one thing that I had to learn as well. Like you need to, this is me speaking things that I did. I had to learn better personal skills in terms of like remembering people's names when they tell me, like remember to look people in the eye when they speak to me, remembering to just know how to follow up, create experience or an event to hang out with people. Do not expect people to always invite you to things, because here sometimes people just don't, and it's not because they don't like you, it's not because they don't want to hang out with you, it's just because you are in their country and sometimes they don't even know how to communicate or navigate forming a friendship as well. So sometimes you need to be the one to build a bridge to create that community that you want for yourself. And then over time, people then started asking me out or inviting me to things. One of my closest friends, she is a Latina, she's Panamanian, and I'm gonna be like one of the people in her wedding. But it did not happen overnight. It was one of those things that took some time, and we need to disregard like how you build friendships in school or back in your like home country. It's not the same because you're in a different culture completely. So just be mindful that the way in which people manage or navigate communication and friendship is going to be different. It's going to be something that you now need to relearn, because this is a new process. So just be mindful of that as well. Okay, so the final one I want to mention is, and this could go for any country you decide to move to, is your life doesn't change overnight. It really doesn't. Like your life, you don't wake up one day in a new country and you be magically changed. It does not happen like that. Like we all move to another country for whatever reason. You might be running from something, you might be running towards something, however you want to view it. But if you were trying to change something about yourself, do not expect to be that person in an 8-hour flight, 3-hour flight, however long it takes you to get there. Do not expect to be a different person in the first month, in the first 2 months, in the first 3 months. It takes time. It really does take time. And that's one thing that I'm constantly learning, like 2 years plus in, I'm still learning that just moving to a new place doesn't change who you are as a person. It doesn't build better habits. It just gives you a step to create that person. You do not magically become this person just because you move to another country. She doesn't happen. He doesn't happen just because you change area codes, honey. It does not. I've had many nights of tears and frustration and isolation to wonder like what is wrong with me, to then realize that nothing is wrong with me. It's just like you're on the path to becoming in a new place. And just because the environment is different, the friends are different, the currency is different, the language is different, everything is different. But sometimes if personality or energy still resides in you, it's gonna be there once you get wherever you plan to move to. And you're the one who needs to work on your belief system, your internal energy, your personality. You need to work on these things when you get to this new place. The person you want to be doesn't land just because you step off the flight, and you don't adapt overnight. Like Panama is such a different culture. It's a different culture. Like you're moving to a different culture, literally. The people don't look the same, well, depending on where you're from, because you could be in parts of Florida and people over there still speak Spanish. So but whatever you are trying to gain from this experience is going to take time. It will take time. I wouldn't even say like 3 months is a good way to reckon if you're going to be happy in a country. There's no way to tell, because I went through so many different processes of changing my reality and building towards a reality in the life that I want to have. I'm still building to this day. And I'm realizing that it doesn't happen overnight. Like the version of me that's sitting here, she didn't land here 2 years ago. She's growing here. She's evolving here. And I'm so grateful that the times when I wanted to like opt out and leave, I didn't. Because there are many times I wanted to do that. As much as I love this city and I love my life here, there are many times where I just wanted to bail. Like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this to myself? What's going on? I'm so glad that I didn't do it. I've allowed this version of me to continue to evolve in this space. I'm not telling you to sit in discomfort, but you have a choice. You have a choice to stay. You have a choice to leave. You have a choice to make a move. And just know, like, if you do make a move, it's something that you can adjust and update later on. Like, no decision is definite or infinite. Like, you have the power to make a shift in whatever decision you make. And I'm so happy that I took the chance and I came here, because I am enjoying the experience. I'm enjoying meeting people. There's so many different things to experiencing a different culture that I would not have been able to understand before. Also, being a lot more empathetic, a lot more patient, a lot more kind. But you need to give yourself the opportunity to have these different layers of you evolve. You cannot grow in a space where everybody has the same mindset, any beliefs, any same trauma. So the fact that you're on this video, you want to move for a reason, whether it's for cheaper living, breathing room, retirement, like whatever your option or reason is for leaving or moving. You need to give it time to really feel like home, and not the place, but you. Like, you need to feel at home within you to then make the environment feel welcoming and at peace, because it's a lot to adjust to. I feel as though I've yapped a long time. Those are the 7 things that I wish I knew before moving to Panama City. I'm happy that I gave myself this chance to enjoy a new experience in a new country. And I look forward to just giving you guys as much more value and information as I can as I experience this life here. And yeah, if you guys like this type of videos, I hope you subscribe. I hope you like. I hope you could put your comments down below. And I will see you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon.